Why has China's economy surged ahead of India's? That's the question we're delving into today. The economic histories of nations are a complex tapestry of decisions, policies, and circumstances. China and India, two ancient civilizations, offer a fascinating study. Both countries shook off colonial yokes around the same time in the mid-20th century, stepping onto the path of modern economic development. Yet, their journeys have been markedly different. China has raced ahead, becoming the second largest economy in the world, while India, despite its immense potential, has progressed at a slower pace. Why is this so? What factors have contributed to their divergent economic trajectories? Today, we're going to unravel this economic puzzle, diving deep into the policies, infrastructure, education, political stability, and global integration that shape these two nations. So, let's embark on a fascinating journey to understand why these two countries, starting at the same point, took such divergent paths. Firstly, we must look at economic policies implemented by both countries. China and India, both with centuries of rich history, embarked on their modern economic journeys post-colonial era around the same time. But their paths diverged significantly due to the economic policies they adopted. China, under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping, embraced market-oriented reforms in the late 70s. By opening up its economy and encouraging foreign investment and private enterprise, China propelled itself into the global economy. This shift from a state-controlled economy to a market-oriented one spurred rapid growth and development. In contrast, India's economic liberalization didn't kick in until the early 90s, more than a decade after China's economic reforms. During this period, India's economy was characterized by protectionist policies, heavy regulations, and a dominant public sector. This delayed economic liberalization meant India was playing catch-up in the global economic race. The impact of these policies on their respective economies was profound. China's early reforms created an environment conducive for business and investment. It attracted multinational corporations, fueling rapid economic expansion. This period of economic boom saw China morph from a predominantly agricultural economy to a global manufacturing powerhouse. On the other hand, India's delayed economic liberalization and protectionist policies resulted in a slower pace of economic growth. The bureaucracy and red tape often acted as a deterrent for foreign investors. Despite the economic liberalization in the 90s, India faced challenges in shaking off the remnants of its protectionist past. In essence, the difference in the timing and nature of economic policies implemented by the two countries laid the foundation for their divergent growth trajectories. China's early reforms opened doors to the global economy, whereas India played catch-up due to its protectionist policies. Infrastructure development played a crucial role in shaping China's economic success. China's approach to infrastructure was not just about building roads and bridges. It was a strategic move to catalyze economic growth. The country poured resources into massive projects, including highways, ports, and power plants, at a pace that the world had never seen before. This wasn't merely an exercise in modernization, but a calculated effort to lay the groundwork for industrialization and export-led growth. On the other hand, India's infrastructure story was quite different. While India did invest in infrastructure, it often struggled with inadequacy and inefficiencies. Frequent power outages, congested ports, and poorly maintained roads were commonplace. This not only affected the quality of life for its citizens, but also hindered India's economic potential. In a global economy where speed and efficiency are crucial, these infrastructural hurdles put India at a competitive disadvantage. The difference in infrastructure investment between China and India had a profound effect on their respective economies. China's robust infrastructure served as an engine for its manufacturing sector. It attracted multinational corporations seeking efficient logistics and low-cost labor. This led to an influx of foreign direct investment, further fueling China's economic growth. In contrast, India's inadequate infrastructure was a significant obstacle to attracting foreign investment. Companies often found it challenging to set up and operate businesses due to infrastructural bottlenecks. This, in turn, limited India's ability to develop its manufacturing sector and compete on the global stage. Infrastructure, in essence, became a force multiplier for China. It not only facilitated economic activity within the country, but also enhanced China's connectivity with the rest of the world. This was a key factor in China's rise as a global economic powerhouse. In contrast, India's infrastructural shortcomings remained a persistent challenge. While there have been efforts to improve infrastructure in recent years, the gap with China is still significant. In conclusion, infrastructure investment was a critical element in the economic divergence between China and India. China's infrastructure boom became a catalyst for its manufacturing sector and global competitiveness. Investment in human capital is another significant factor in this economic puzzle. Human capital refers to the skills, knowledge, and experience possessed by an individual or population. It's a driving force behind economic growth and development. And here's where China and India took different paths. China recognized early on the importance of a skilled workforce for its modern economy. It invested heavily in education, with a particular focus on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, known as STEM, as well as vocational training. This approach equipped its citizens with the skills needed to thrive in the evolving global market. China's education system churned out engineers, technicians, and scientists who became the backbone of its burgeoning industries. Meanwhile, as the world moved into the digital age, China was ready with a workforce proficient in technology and innovation. On the other hand, India, with its large and young population, had the potential to reap the benefits of what economists call the demographic dividend. However, it faced significant challenges. Despite making strides in improving access to education, India grappled with quality issues. The curriculum often lacked relevance to market needs, and dropout rates remained high, especially among girls and marginalized communities. Consequently, a large portion of India's labor force remained unskilled or underskilled, limiting its ability to compete in a knowledge-driven global economy. Moreover, a significant segment of India's educated youth struggled to find suitable employment, resulting in a job skills mismatch. This issue has been a significant barrier to India's economic growth. In summary, China's strategic investment in human capital paid off. Its skilled workforce became a magnet for industries, both domestic and foreign, driving innovation and productivity gains. This dynamic played a crucial role in China's rapid economic development. On the other hand, India, despite its potential, still grapples with an unskilled labor force. It needs to address its education and skill development challenges to unlock its economic potential fully. And so, China's skilled workforce became a driver of innovation and productivity. While India still grapples with an unskilled labor force, political stability and long-term planning also played a pivotal role in China's economic rise. In a rapidly evolving world, the ability to plan and execute long-term strategies is crucial. This is where China's single-party system showcased its strengths. Unlike the often tumultuous political landscape of multi-party democracies, China's system provided a level of stability and continuity that proved advantageous for economic planning and implementation. With a single party at the helm, China was able to avoid the policy flip-flops that can plague democracies with changing governments. This consistency allowed for a strategic vision that spanned decades, not just election cycles. The result? A roadmap for growth that could be pursued with dogged determination and minimal disruptions. China's 5-year plans are a prime example of this long-term vision at work. These plans, detailed and comprehensive, outline the country's strategic priorities and guide its economic development. They allow for coordinated efforts across regions and sectors, ensuring that all parts of the country are pulling in the same direction. Now, let's contrast this with India. India's vibrant democracy, while a strength in many respects, often led to policy gridlock. Different political parties with divergent agendas can result in short-term decision-making, as each government seeks to make its mark during its tenure. This can lead to inconsistent policies and uncertainty, which aren't conducive to long-term economic planning or a stable investment climate. Moreover, India's federal structure, with power dispersed among central and state governments, can sometimes lead to disjointed development efforts. While this system has its merits, aligning national and regional priorities can be a significant challenge. So while both political systems have their strengths and weaknesses, in the race for economic development, China's single-party system and emphasis on long-term planning gave it a distinct advantage. China's strategic vision and centralized control facilitated the execution of ambitious economic agendas. This is not to say that one system is inherently better than the other, but rather highlights how different political structures can influence economic trajectories. Global integration and trade policies significantly influence the economic trajectories of both nations. China, with its strategic foresight, embraced globalization, transforming itself into the world's factory. It did this by leveraging its abundant labor force, offering export incentives, and integrating itself into the heart of global supply chains. This move not only boosted China's economic growth, but also positioned it as a key player in the global economy. On the other hand, India took a different approach. While it did gradually open up its economy, protectionist tendencies remained. These tendencies, coupled with challenges in infrastructure and policy implementation, hindered India's ability to match China's export prowess. Moreover, India's focus remained largely on domestic consumption, limiting its global reach. In the grand scheme of things, these differing approaches to global integration and trade played a pivotal role in shaping the economic narratives of these two nations. China's export-oriented model propelled its economic rise, while India's focus on domestic consumption limited its global reach. In conclusion, several factors contributed to the economic divergence of China and India. China's early market reforms, massive infrastructure investment, focus on education, political stability, and global integration were instrumental in its economic surge. India, while making strides, faced challenges with the late economic liberalization, inadequate infrastructure, quality of education, policy gridlock, and limited global integration. By understanding these factors, we can appreciate the complex economic puzzle that China and India present.